everyone. My name is Eileen Fontenot. I'm one of the Thomas Crane librarians, and I'm talking here today with Clayton Cheever, our Assistant Director here at Thomas Crane. We're having a little casual conversation as he prepares to move on. So Clayton, welcome. Thank you for joining me.
Oh, thank you, Eileen. It is such a pleasure to have this opportunity to talk with you and to talk with the people who like to watch our show and watch our content. It has been so wonderful working with QATV, with Mark, with Jonathan, with Michael, with Carol. There's just so many great people over there at QATV, and they're just such a pleasure to work with. So every chance I get to praise them, either if it's just them seeing the video or if I get an opportunity to say something in public about how a wonderful community partner they've been and how they really help, especially in this era where we can't welcome people into the library the way we did. And we are now seeing attendance at our programs that we couldn't accommodate in person. We are taking it to another level during a pandemic. It's really incredible.
They really are a lot of fun to work with. I've had the pleasure of learning their technology and going into their studio and doing all these videos, and it's been so much fun. So yes, thank you to all of them.
They, I think, could potentially have futures at big broadcasting houses that, and big studios that are way bigger than what we can do here in Quincy. And I'm just so grateful for their commitment to community media and community information. It's, I think a major staple for a lot of people in the city. Haven't always been a community television, before I think doing work with them, I didn't even appreciate what community media centers do to the same degree as I do now. And that's something I'm looking forward to expanding on in Norwood. Norwood has it. So to tell everybody, my big news, I have recently signed a contract to become the director of the Morrill Memorial Library in Norwood, Massachusetts. I am really going to miss Quincy a ton, but I'm also really excited about Norwood. And as I was just saying, they have a community media center that I'm looking forward to developing ties with so that we can take some of the lessons that I've been able to learn here and apply them to Norwood and, kind of spread the gospel of Quincy as far and wide as I can.
Congratulations officially. I'm glad we were able to do this little talk. So the folks out in Quincy won't be wondering where you went to, you're such a, especially during COVID, you've been on Zoom, you've been hosting programs on Facebook and YouTube and everything. You've been like the face of the library for a lot of things. So I'm glad we're able to kind of tell everyone this great news.
Every time I get to be in front and to represent Thomas Crane, I definitely feel I feel very proud. I think we have an awesome library. I couldn't do this work without all the people who work here in the library, keeping things going. It's been, one thing that we've learned in this pandemic is just how much more work it takes, but how valuable it is to take care of each other. And I couldn't be doing these programs and helping represent to the community what we're doing without everybody who's working here. So I hope nobody, internally has ever felt that, like, oh, geez, how come Clayton's taking all the spotlight? I'm really grateful to share that spotlight with folks and looking for every opportunity as possible, because we couldn't do this, any of us, by ourselves. It has been an honor to represent the library in person at programs over the years and here on YouTube. And I'm excited about what the future could hold for our ability to get the message out to as many people as we can. We have an awesome city, and I wish I could personally say, see you down the road to all the people here. I'm really going to miss working here, working with all the great people here who, like yourself, in the library. It's really been just awesome. And with all the great people in the community, there are just so many awesome community partners that, many whom I've been able to actually introduce to the city and to a larger audience here through our programs. People across Massachusetts, which of course we can all keep in touch with. But just, I think about all the amazing local folks, and I don't even want to start naming names here because I'll inevitably leave somebody out, and I mean no offense. But if I've talked to you, you know who you are, and I thank you. It has really been impressive, the diversity of voices and perspectives and passions for our greater community here in the city, and it's been an awesome experience.
And you've been here quite a while, like 7 years, right?
I have been here just over 7.5 years. Yeah. I've actually never had any position this long. I've never been in one place even this long, let alone in one position in that place. I was in Boston before coming here, and I was there for about 5 years. But I had 3 different positions in that time while I was there. So and I'm not bored. I'm really enjoying. This is a great job being the assistant director. So if the next assistant director happens to be listening or watching this, if you haven't applied yet, please do. They're still, I know, considering applications. We really want to get a great one in here. I've talked to a couple people who approached me, and if anybody has interest in the position, would like to learn more about it, I'd be happy to talk to them about it. This is really, applied towards people with public library experience, and the bar is, we need somebody with a lot of experience and passion for public libraries. If you have that, this is a great place to be.
Yeah, it's really exciting to work here. I mean, there's never a dull moment, that's for sure. And there's always opportunity to do a lot of different things. That's what, I've enjoyed about working here too. So
absolutely. Something that, during the pandemic, it's been really important to have a staff presence for all of our programs. And that's meant actually attending a lot more programs than I was ever before, and staying through. We never had the luxury of staying through the entire program. But now it's been a requirement. It's really been enriching. I've been able to do programs with friends, be able to do things so that, that got a great feedback and turn, feedback from the community and support and appreciation. But it's, I have to admit, when I was picking things, it had to hold some personal interest. There had to be something there, which is not a requirement. Certainly, I don't do this work for myself. I do it for the community, and that's what we should all be doing, is serving the community. But there have been so many ways where there's so many intersections where there was demand for and interest in the community was also stuff that I personally found interesting. And so, it's just, it takes your life to another level. It's great.
You learn stuff yourself that you've never, experienced before, and then you hope you pass that along to people in the community, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are you looking forward to in your new role?
Oh, there's so much learning to do in any new role. I know some of the folks, Brian, who used to work here, and some folks.
Yeah, I'm sure our viewers will remember him.
Yeah, he did a lot of work here, and he and I actually have a plaque in my wall here for the chair affair video that he and I worked on together with a bunch of staff here, and we won national recognition for when we put that video together. People just loved it, and it was really fun to do. So I'm really excited to be reunited with him. There's several other members. I remember I called Lydia, who's the assistant director there, before I even applied, and said, "Hey, are you going to apply for this job? Why not? What's going on? What do I need to know?" And she just, she gave me great answers, and I totally understood where she was at, and gave me, the confidence to want to make sure that it was a good fit for me. And I know several others. Kate is the head of the children's department, and she and I were in school together. Liz is a rock star. She's been in the adult services department for some time, but just got promoted to be the head of that department. So to be able to help her spread her wings even further, it was just an awesome staff. Before I hesitate even saying any names there because there's so many great people. So it's like the staff here that I've really enjoyed working with. I'm really excited about the staff in Norwood and figuring out how to make those connections. And it's weird here in this time when I haven't been able to, I've done like one tour of the building here post-COVID, we're not post-COVID, but during the pandemic. But I am grateful to have had those connections with a bunch of people there previously to build on. But there'll be a lot more. I'm just looking forward to getting to know the community. My wife and daughter and I went and did a walk. We were a couple of weeks ago, we went down that way, and we were looking for interesting places to go, and we saw a map, or on the map, we were using All Trails was the app we were using. I don't know if you've ever used that app before.
Yeah.
And we found this link and all these reviews for a bird park. We saw that sounds cool. Let's go see some birds. And we get there, and it was a bird park. And we found the sign, we found the parking spot, and we started walking. And it was really wide and open. When you think bird park, you think a lot of shade and a lot of tree cover, and right. Places really a bird habitat. And we're like, well, this is nice, and we were enjoying it, but trying to figure out, where are the birds? And we saw somebody with a big fancy camera and who was, checking out a woodpecker, I think they said. But then we came across a sign. It was named after somebody whose last name was Bird. So it was cool. It was this nice big park. It had some nice walking trails and some, some nice water features, and then some cool stone bridges were really neat in that park. I've been told somebody who's leaving Norwood, and I don't think I'll get a chance to work with. Actually, no, this is from a story of somebody who used to work there before Brian. I think she was the IT person before Brian was telling me all about the places to bike and to hike she was talking about swimming. I was exploring those things. So that'll be fun in Norwood. I'm going to miss the coastline though, having 27 miles here with Wollaston Beach and the Neck and Quincy is an awesome place. Like it's not possible to top. I'm not, there's a beautiful building in Norwood. I'm sure there's some gorgeous natural spaces I'm really looking forward to. Yeah. I'd leave Quincy with a heavy heart in some ways though, because it is such a great place to be here. So people who are here, I hope that they count their blessings. And, my daughter is now teaching snowboarding lessons in the Blue Hills to have that in our backyard. I did a program for Earth Day this spring with someone in the environmental and what was her responsibility? And she was doing wastewater mitigation and looking at our natural spaces. And we did a tour of some of the awesome wild spaces in Quincy. We did a program just last week about Quincy's trees, which is exciting. I want to go out and look more at the various trees. I know our Chris is our tree warden, and he is totally privileged. He has friends in places all over the state and has worked in a number of other places as a tree warden as well, and was just impressing me with, just the huge richness of our natural environment here. So that's pretty cool too.
That's pretty great. And one thing that you're good at is that you have all these contacts and all this community around you. I mean, every time not only in Quincy, every time I go to any sort of conference or anything, they're like, say hi to Clayton, Every time they hear that I'm from Thomas Crane, they know who you are. And
that's sweet.
Yeah, it is. It's funny. Even when I was out of state too, it's like, I meet people in the airports and they're like, oh yeah, I am from XY and somewhere north of here. And it's like, wow. So, I know you'll probably do well, I know you will, making those connections, those contacts. So I'm sure you'll.
I like people a lot. I really just find different stories fascinating. I love learning different stories and how we all gotten to be where we are. And I love learning what people are passionate about. With some of I just feel like life is too short for any of us. There's just so many stories out there. Maybe this is what drew me to libraries in the first place, is a love for stories, and whether they're being expressed between, covers of a book, or whether they're being expressed in song or in a movie or a television series. There is just something about all these different stories that we have available to us in libraries. Mm-hmm. That is what brought me here. The first job I had that was kind of library related, I didn't even think about it as library related. I was working for a time in a used bookstore because I got access to every year. I'd been members, my family had been members for years, and we had accumulated this huge credit of available books. Every year that you renewed your membership, you got 10 free credits that you could exchange for books. And we had I basically any book I wanted to take home, I could get a credit for from the used collection. But we were always getting new stuff. I was always, make sure buying the new stuff myself and spending any money they paid me on books and taking the used stuff out. And I just did it because I love the stories. I just love being there. And I loved being able to work there on a Sunday afternoon when it was pretty quiet and just practice guitar for a few hours and be the only person opening and closing the store. It was just a cool place to be. So that love of stories is what draws me to folks, and I think it resonates with folks. I think a lot of us love stories, and it's really fun to share them.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Well, thank you for chatting with me. Do you have anything else to add, or this sounds like a good first
I think we're good. I just want to leave. I want to say thank you to everybody across Quincy for everybody's support. This is an exciting opportunity for me. And, I was not watching job boards looking for anything. I've been really, really, really happy here in Quincy as the assistant director. I love working with Megan. I love working with our supervisory team and all of our staff here. Of course, there's challenges. Of course, we have, somebody who's upset, and I get to deal with some of those upset people and be that kind of front line. I know a lot of other people do too, but as we know, when things get to a certain point, to the top level where people can't take anymore, that comes to me. And some of those are not pleasant, of course. But that kind of comes with any position. And I always, try to do that as gracefully as possible while being fair and making sure, kind of keeping the bigger picture in mind. But I'm really, even the folks who've been difficult, I'm grateful for, because, we learn and get to show our best self with how we perform when things are tough. And it's been a crazy year. We definitely have had challenges, and so far, knock on wood, everybody is staying healthy. Everybody's doing well. I know it's a hard time and it can be a depressing time. And so, trying to figure out ways where we can connect more with each other and take care of each other. If there's one thing coming out of this pandemic that I can hope we all really figure out how to prioritize, because it's what it's getting us through, is the importance to take care of each other. So I have felt incredibly nurtured and supported. This is an awesome opportunity for me to become a new director, and it wouldn't be possible without all the support that I've had. And so one of the things I'm feeling most these days is that extreme gratitude for everybody who's brought me to this space. It's just a really awesome opportunity, and I couldn't do it without everybody's help. And so I'm grateful. And I've had a lot of people wish me well, and I really appreciate it. I couldn't do it without everybody else. So thank you. Thank you, Eileen.
Well, I'm very excited for you. I know this is going to be a super fun challenge for you that you'll be awesome at. And thank you for all the things you've done for us as staff over the years. And we wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping by and chatting with us. And I'm sure we'll see you around the conferences.
I am sure our paths will continue. We are still in this endeavor to improve public libraries and be the best we can be. So I definitely look forward to keeping in touch and encourage folks to look me up in Norwood. Give me a call, send me an email. If I know you personally, please, I'd be happy to share my personal email and phone number with people who I know. So I'm not going to put those out here on QATV because this is got a very much more public audience. But I want people who do feel like you know me that way to please reach out and let's stay in touch. I really thank you, Eileen.
Thank you so much for chatting with me. I really appreciate it.